Hello and welcome to the Diski Post-Match Analysis, where we talk about the fixtures that have taken place over the past 7 days or more, depending on when the last time we gave you a post-match analysis. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's the COSAFA Cup, there's also the Euros and the Copa America. And then from next week, we've got the UEFA Champions League, the UEFA Europa League qualifications that will be taking place. There's a lot on our plate for us to discuss, including club friendlies. I know Manchester United will be in action around next week, Monday. But let's get the conversation going and brewing and burning a big flame, starting off with the COSAFA Cup.
Rasmus Højlund, thunderous! It's an absolute net buster.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content if you agree or disagree with the comments that I'm going to be making about the fixtures that have taken place over the past 7 days. I want to start off with the COSAFA Cup. Obviously, a lot to talk about when it comes to this one because, number one, a lot of people knew the COSAFA Cup was happening until the matches started playing. You know what I mean? So there was not much of build-up in terms of, talks in the streets, talks on WhatsApp, group chats. But the moment Bafana Bafana was kicking off, everybody started talking about. So let's talk about how the group stages have come to an end. Group A, South Africa topped that group with Mozambique in second, Eswatini and Botswana falling short. Both those teams failed to register a single win, while for South Africa and Mozambique, it was 2 draws and 1 win, which meant that they finished the group with 5 points each. For South Africa, it was a not so impressive display in terms of goal getting. They had 2 goals scored and 1 goal conceded, but that's the theme from South Africa in this tournament. They started off slow. They haven't been playing the brand of football that we know them to play, and by that I mean the COSAFA teams of old, not the Bafana team that played in the Africa Cup of Nations, obviously. And then you look at Mozambique as well. 4 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, and that was enough to see them qualify just behind South Africa. For Group B, Comoros, Kenya managed to make it through. They have 2 wins and 1 loss each. They finished on 6 points, with Kenya getting 4 goals in the tournament. The team that topped the group, Comoros, scored 3 goals and conceded just the 1 goal. I know everybody is thinking to themselves, how is this even possible? Because there's 3 teams in this group that had 2 wins and 1 loss as well. That boils down only to goal difference, because Comoros had scored 3 goals, conceded 1. Kenya scored 4, conceded 2, and then Zimbabwe scored 3 and conceded 2, which left them on a goal difference of 1, which then made them fall into the 3rd position. So unlike the Euros and the Africa Cup of Nations, there's no 3rd place best table. It's just 3rd place, you're out. The rest will continue. Angola, Namibia are currently sitting top of Group C. We're shooting this at a time before the games take place. So Seychelles, Lesotho both have 1 point each. And for the next round of games, Lesotho will be facing Angola, which we assume in that one Angola is going to win that game. And then Namibia will be facing Seychelles. That anything can happen that way, it can go into a draw. But let's talk about the Mzansi that we love, Mzansi that we celebrate so much. They played against Botswana. They played out to a 0-0 draw. And that was in the 2nd round. But in the 3rd round, they were managed to find the goals, getting 1 goal against Eswatini and winning that game. What I really wanted to point out in this game was how early the goal came in. The goal came in the 3rd minute. And from there, South Africa managed to manage the game out till the end. Very muted game, but a lot of yellow cards for the South African team. Ethan Brooks, a player that we're very familiar with, got himself a yellow card. Valabai also got himself a yellow card. And Tikazi also got himself a yellow card in that game. 5 yellow cards in total in this match, just showing how much of a tight match it was between these 2 sides. But yeah, South Africa managed to make it through. Now let's move on to talk about what's happening in the Euros and wrapping up how it went in the round of 16, building up to the semi-finals. Right, let's get right into it. It's a conversation around the Euros. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content. If you have a comment, leave it in the comment section below. It's time for us to talk all things Euros. And as things are heating up, as we enter into the quarterfinals, the conversations are now gelling into who's going to win the tournament overall. Obviously, everyone wants to back their team. I've heard Portugal, Spain, some are saying Germany will win it at home. I'm going with the Netherlands, and that's been my comment from the beginning. And I know a lot of people are like, but that's crazy. Why would you want to back the Netherlands in this tournament? And I want to pose a big question to you if you're watching this. And the question is, do you think the Netherlands did it on purpose to finish 3rd in their group? Do you think they knew, they would be the best 3rd place side? But do you think they thought about it, like, do we want to be on the difficult side of the journey to the final, or do you want to be on the easy side of the journey to the final? What I mean by that is that if you look at Netherlands' journey to the final from the round of 16. They're going to face Romania. They beat them 3-0. Then they've got Turkey and possibly a match between Switzerland and England, or England in the semi-finals, building up to the final either against Spain, Germany, Portugal, or France. On the other side of the coin, for example, let's take a Spain. Let's take Germany, for example. Germany face Denmark. They've got Spain in the quarterfinals. They possibly have Portugal or France in the semifinals, and they still might have to face Netherlands, England, Turkey, or Switzerland. So I think maybe we got it all wrong. Maybe we read it all wrong from Ronald Koeman when his team finished third, and we thought to ourselves, Austria, they did something beautiful, miraculous. They beat the Netherlands by 3-2, and we thought to ourselves, wow, this is actually a quality side. They might actually go do something in the tournament. Maybe the Netherlands were just like, if we can just finish third, and we will then have an easy journey to the final. Let's have this conversation real quick. Starting off with Spain's win. Spain won their game against Georgia 4-1. Some are saying it's a 5-0 win because all the goals were scored by Spanish players. But they are the favorites at this moment. When you ask anyone on the streets, the barber, about who's going to win this tournament, they're all saying Spain. And that's about, when you look at how many goals they've scored in conjunction to how many goals they've conceded. Now, the one goal they conceded obviously was an own goal, but when you look at the team's overall goals in the back of the net from Spain, they are topping the group charts with 9 goals scored overall in the tournament. Only Germany has scored more goals, and that's 10 goals in this tournament. When you talk about goals conceded, obviously, we have to then have a conversation about the likes of France. Spain have also had just 1 goal conceded. Don't forget that goal was an own goal. So technically at this moment in time, Spain have not conceded a goal from anybody else but themselves. So and that's why everybody's having this conversation, say Spain is going to go on and win the tournament. I don't know if I quite agree, but what can we say? Then we have to talk about, obviously, the next team in this roster is Germany. They're going to be facing Spain. They managed to get through Denmark by 2-0. A very stressful display from them in terms of, if you're a German fan watching that match and hoping that Germany will come in and dominate. The goals only coming in the second half, the first of which came from a penalty. The second goal was scored in some fashion by Jamal Musiala. That was the game done, dusted at 2-0. Denmark could not reply to those 2 goals. And from my take of that display, it showed very muted Germany in the first half. They had a lot of attempts. They were not quite getting them right in terms of hitting the back of the net. The moment they got into their stride, they started playing counter-attacking football, a lot more breaks, because in the first half they dominated a lot of the possession. But in the second half, they were playing a lot more on the back foot and going in on the break. They managed to get the goals. I mean, you look at Jamal Musiala's goal if you've not seen the highlights, and that kind of, templates what Germany is all about in this tournament, which is fast, quick transitions, quick counters, getting the ball into the box, finding a late runner or finding the space to take a shot, and that's how they managed to get their goal, and that's how they managed to get past Denmark. Now we make it to Portugal, which has been a big topic of debate in terms of how they made it to the quarterfinals. Everybody's disappointed in terms of how Portugal got this far, especially for those people who consider Portugal their favorites to win this tournament. It's very disappointing to see a team of the stature going through on penalties against Slovenia, a team that finished 3rd place in their group. And you might be thinking to yourself, it's supposed to be an easy way through for a team like Portugal, who finished third who finished top of their group. But it was a difficult game. It went all the way down to penalties after Ronaldo missed a penalty in extra time, and the game had to go to penalties. But the good thing for this Portuguese side is that all 3 penalties were missed by Slovenia. Portugal converted all 3 of their penalties, and they made it through to the next round, which is a tie against France. Speaking about France, France had to do the I think the most difficult of all difficult routes. They went on to face a Belgium side that also disappointed in the group stages, dismally disappointed. And a lot of people were saying, asking Kevin De Bruyne and a lot of players that your golden era has not produced trophies. How do you feel? And he was like, but is Spain not in the golden era? Is Germany not in the golden era? Is France not in the golden era? All these teams obviously are hitting a place of peak in terms of talent, organization, and also the coaching staff that they have. So you look at France, they edged that game by 1-0. I personally was disappointed in the result because I thought it would go to penalties or possibly extra time, but France managed to cut it all out or finish it all off in the 90 minutes and won the game. Let's move on to the other side of the journey tree, which is Netherlands and Turkey. Starting off with the Netherlands, like I said, they beat Romania by 3-0. And at this moment in time, their player, which is Cody Gakpo, one of the highest rated players at the tournament. The Liverpool man has 3 goals in the tournament, level on goals with Jamal Musiala, Ivan Šrac of Slovakia, who's now out of the tournament, and then Georgia's I can't pronounce that name. Let me try. It's Mika Kadu. What? Mika okay, I can't pronounce. The other tongue is not allowed. But yeah, those four players are all sitting on 3 goals each. Cody Gakpo scoring the latest goal in the last match that he played against Romania. His team managed to finish that game 3-0 with Marlon scoring a brace, and obviously Cody Gakpo getting a goal and an assist. I think he's one of the most underrated players at this tournament, with everybody talking about Bellingham, Musiala, and all the stars. Cody Gakpo is falling through the cracks in terms of what he's been able to bring to the Netherlands in this tournament. I mean, you're talking about a team that has Memphis Depay. They started with Steven Bergwijn. They had Marlon, and still this guy is the main outlet for goals when it comes to Netherlands. For Turkey, they managed to dispatch very disappointing Austria. They won by 2-1, and that result was expected by many, although I had good hopes for Austria. I thought they could actually take the challenge to Turkey, but Turkey managed to ice them out and win the match. Last but not least, we go to It's Coming Home, England themselves. This one needs me to take a little bit of a break, Yeah, because what a game. Starting off with the fact that Slovakia led the game for quite a long stint in the match. This was due to the fact that they scored their goal in the first half, and that goal came around, if I'm not mistaken, the 25th minute. And before that, you could see the game was very intense. I mean, there was yellow cards being thrown out. Mainu, who was starting the game, Gui, who was also starting the game, got yellow cards in the first 10 minutes, and then from there was a foul from Jude Bellingham. He got himself a yellow card in the 17th minute. Overall, in total, there was 5 yellow cards in the first half and 1 goal in additional time. I mean, in the 25 minutes of the first 25 minutes of the match. So this match that stays the same all the way down to the 90th minute, where Jude Bellingham scores that fantastic overhead kick. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not fighting anybody. All I'm saying is, throughout this tournament, and I've been very guilty of it too, I have accused England of picking all the Rolls-Royce named players, putting them into a squad with a coach who is playing against his own element of football, which is basically playing against the strategy he wants to play, only to accommodate all the stars that England has been able to produce. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. He can do that all he wants. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't have a formation and a structure and a system that he wants to play, he's not going to be able to translate his message clearly to the players. And now he's playing in the starting 11 with a 4-2-3-1, and he's got himself up front, a front four of Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, and Bukayo Saka. My thing was, all these players have teams built around them at club level. Bayern have built a team around Harry Kane with players supplying balls into the box for Harry Kane to finish. Jude Bellingham, for half the season with Real Madrid, was the player who was designated late runner into the box. So while your Vinicius Juniors and your Rodrigos were creating the mischief on the flanks, dribbling players, putting defense in disarray, once they dragged the ball back into the box, Jude Bellingham was there to finish, a team built around the player. For Phil Foden, Man City had built a team around his left foot shot outside the box. So he was playing off the right-hand side, getting that ball in the box, on the edge of the box. All you need to do was drive down the line and curl the ball into the top left-hand corner. So a lot of this football and a lot of these players had the football built around them. And now at this level, which is international level, the only error was, you have all these stars, but no team is built. The team is not built around any one of them. So you can have all the names you want on the field, but if these guys are not going to get what they need, for example, Harry Kane, if he's not going to get balls into the box, he's not going to be able to finish. So for the first time in a long time, I saw Gareth Southgate abandon, everything and just go back to the basic English style of football. That Rory Delap free throw-in from Kieran Trippier, very English to me. I think he's going in the right direction now, and I think England will be dangerous if they continue to play the style of football we saw them play against this team, which was Slovakia. So I think England are onto something. They just need to start playing their brand of football, which is, that kind of football where balls into the box, let the big guys finish them, and let's not try play Spanish football. Let's not try play German gegen press. Let's just play English football and just get the ball into the back of the net through a header, through a ball into the box. That's how you're going to get the goals. And then last but not least, Italy lost to Switzerland. Obviously, that one has been discussed thoroughly, so I won't get touching on that too much. That's all I got for you for this week. Let's get in touch again next week when we do a recap of all the fixtures that took place over the next 7 days. Thank you for watching.